So basically, I wanna I want to resolve my traumas. I want to talk about this stuff. I want to air it out. I want to get over it so I can move on. So that is why I want to go through this diary. I want to go through these traumas that I experienced and dissect them and my feelings back then. I didn't know how to feel or how to process this. So this series is going to be all about this diary. I'm going to be reading segments from this diary and just showing you guys the person that I was. In relation to the person that I've become now, I'm not complete. I'm still battling those childhood traumas every single day. There's a battle that I have to overcome. And so, yeah, guys. Hello, it's me, Jessica, and I'm about to do something pretty crazy. I'm about to go through this journal. I'm going to take us through my life from the years 2005 till the last entry date in here, which was June 3rd this year. So this diary, a little bit about it. I got this diary at summer camp. It was my first year at summer camp. I was 12 years old. I was a part of a Salvation Army churches, and just like a lot of young Black youth, we ran the streets. We did what we wanted to do. We had no parental guidance, and so we found ourselves a lot in the arms of people who were trying to help us, people who, felt bad for us. So naturally, the people who wanted to take us in was the church. So this is how we discovered the Salvation Army, was through poverty, being hungry, playing outside in the field. And then one day this guy rode past in a church van. And he's like, "Hey, you guys want to come eat? We got pizza at our church." Yeah, we're coming for that pizza. So went to the Salvation Army church, became a member, started going all the time because basically they always had free pizza. Not only that, but I also was very religious. But yeah, I've always remembered being spiritual, being into spirituality, but I used Christianity back then for my spiritual practices. And I was a very devout Christian as a kid. Growing up in the poor, that's the only thing I had to turn to. I grew up in a home with drug abuse, addiction. Basically, I went through a lot of abuse as a kid. And so it's very easy to turn to spirituality because you want to escape your physical world. So you try to go within and you try to love yourself, but it's very hard. I'm not going to lie. When you're 12 years old, watching your mother high on drugs and dealing with things like evictions and just nasty houses, roaches, just a very bad quality of life, you get very depressed. And I was very, very depressed as a kid. I remember almost every night I cried myself to sleep. And I prayed. I was so deep into my prayers. I believed that God would deliver me from the life that my parents had given me, or hadn't given me for that matter. So this diary, I was reading it. I've lost it many times. I've lost this diary so many times. This is the oldest thing I have. This is the longest thing that I've kept up with. All the moves and all. I just can't believe I still have this diary myself. But this diary just means a lot to me because without this, I really would not be able to have, I wouldn't be able to look back and see all the change and all the progress that I made. Even now, I still find myself being depressed at times, still crying myself to sleep. And I feel like to this little girl in this diary, if she saw the life that I live now, she would think that all her dreams came true. She'd be like, "What? Why are you crying? What are you depressed about?" But unfortunately, one thing, especially in the Black community, that we have to do is overcome our childhood traumas. So until we do that, we will still be crying ourselves to sleep. It doesn't matter if you get out of the hood or whatever. If that trauma does not become resolved in your heart, it will remain. It'll remain. And then you will create those traumas for your next generations. And that's how generational curses take place, you know. Just like that, you know, my mama beat the shit out of me, so I'm gonna beat the shit out of my kids, or my parents did drugs and all that, and I turned out all right, but you know, are you all right? So I was reading my diary. I was reading it, I found it, and I realized that I hadn't written in it since, I mean, it was like there's a 3-year gap in this diary. And the 3-year gap, I know exactly what was going on, and I felt like my life was at a standstill. I was in a relationship. It goes from me being in a relationship, and then it just skips 3 years. So I wrote an entry in it just recently, this past June. And then I went back. I started flipping back through the pages. I started reading things like, I don't even remember writing these things, but I remember as I read them, I remember, you know. I read over these pages, and I'm tracing over the same pages that 12-year-old me was writing in, you know, and 15-year-old me, and 18-year-old me, and 20-year-old me. And I have letters to myself in here and to future me, and I read those back and I laugh because I never would have guessed how things would have turned out. Like, there's no guessing. Like, you don't know how you're going to turn out. But if you believe that you're going to be straight and that you're going to be good, then you will be good as long as you put that to action in your life. So I'm going to read the first few pages here. This is from June 25th, 2005. The very first entry. I remember my summer camp, we won these little diaries because we had the cleanest cabin all week. Yeah, I loved that summer. But okay, day 1. I'm at camp looking at Jonathan, my ex-boyfriend, but I'm at breakfast. It's the last day at camp. We're about to go home. And the next day I wrote, well, I guess this is the same day. I'm home now, and it's the same day. But we got home at 3 o'clock. I've been crying because I miss all my friends. Then I named all these girls. And then I said, especially Jonathan. Now, Jonathan was this guy I saw like 2 times at summer camp. He smiled at me. His friend ran over and was like, hey, you want to be his girlfriend? I was like, yeah, I want to be his girlfriend. So we were like camp boyfriend and girlfriend, but we never literally even held hands or anything. So, you know, that's just how it goes when you're like 12 or whatever. So as I continue, I miss staring at Jonathan. I also miss all my friends. I miss everyone already, and I was just there this morning. I love camp more than anything. I wish that I lived at Camp Grandview. We had the best cabin. All the girls above were in it. I listed all the girls. When I first came, we got checked for child abuse. Then we got signed in. Cabin 8B was our cabin, me and my sister Nina. So basically, I go on to talk about how my experience was at camp, and this is crazy because back then I never knew that going to the summer camp actually changed my life. The Salvation Army changed my life. So basically, this whole first entry is me falling in love with camp because before then I had never gone to any kind of organized events besides church. So leaving from my home, going to another town, another city, and the food and the friends and the events, the pool, all that stuff right there to an inner city child, that is the world to a child, actually, you know. So basically, yeah, it's at camp. I'm getting past all this camp stuff. This is what I said. Everyone kept coming up to me after they found out that I was dating Jonathan at camp and asking if I went out with him and if he went out with me. He answered in front of me once. He said, yeah, that's my shorty. Oh, that's so cool. He is so fine. Wow. Yeah. Safe to say I was a weirdo, but unpacking that, this just shows that even in this first entry of my diary, you know, I was so happy to be able to escape from my home, which was very just nasty and not livable, not the place children need to be growing up. And summer camp was the first taste of freedom for me. Even in between these lines, you can tell that I was a girl looking for love. I'm gonna try not to get emotional because I'm awkward. I'm not really a crier or anything like that. The only times I do cry, I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing, face? We ain't no bitch. But I want to really unlock these traumas. So if you guys want to stay tuned and follow my story and follow my journey, please subscribe. And also, yeah, if you guys have diaries out there, I would also recommend that you guys do the same. And if you don't have diaries, start journaling now. Like, this is one of the best things I could have ever done for myself, is journal now.